Part of the reason I chose Americool was I had talked to other contractors about the same type of system. A few of them really, you could tell they were just getting into the market and were still trying to learn the systems themselves. Chip was able to demonstrate that actual knowledge, plus the fact that he had units working at the home show, and was able to talk about those units and show them working, while the others were barely even able to talk about what kind of system they. One of the other contractors didn't even know that there were, systems that could go in the attic to be kind of ducted systems, which is what I ended up going with. And some were just unreliable. They, were unresponsive, or, for whatever reason, just wouldn't provide me with any information. And Chip was very open throughout the whole process. Showed me all the paperwork, all of his calculations, and all the models, and he pointed me to all the documentation that I needed or could read on those models so that we could have actually an educated conversation about it. And Chip came out pretty soon thereafter and worked with me pretty extensively to find a system that would work and that was more efficient and would be able to better split my home into more zones. Because with a tri-level house, having multiple zones is usually tricky with the traditional systems, so we were able to come up with a good solution with that. We had an old oil furnace that was here when they built the house, so it was built in the 50s, so it wasn't efficient. Oil costs were, upwards of $2,000 a year, $2,000 to $3,000 a year, not to mention the air conditioning in the summertime. And the big problem was our main living area was about 10 degrees difference in temperature than our bedroom area. So right up the steps, about 6 steps. So I wanted to do something about that because it was too expensive and it just wasn't working the way it should. So I set out to find a company that could give me a split zone system so I could better cordon off the areas of my house that we weren't using, or we could actually, match the temperatures a little better. And I ran across the Mitsubishi split systems, and it works very, very well. We did actually accomplish our goal. We actually have 3 zones in our house now. We're able to match the temperatures in each level if we want to, but more importantly, we can independently control those. So during the day, we can basically turn 2 of the areas off that we're not in, and we're saving money that way because we're not even having to run them. The one in the basement works so well that we hardly have to run it at all to keep it cool down there. And the 2 in the main areas of the house are super quiet and they're super powerful. So, they're on and you can tell they're on because it's a nice comfortable temperature, but you can't really hear them. With the old system, especially at night in the bedrooms, the furnace was right under our bedroom. So every time it kicked on, it would almost wake you up. It was so loud and noisy. And coupled with the fact that it was old and wasn't running properly, there were times it would cut on and run for a minute or 2 at a time and then cut off, and then a few minutes later it would cut right back on. With the new Mitsubishi systems, you don't even hear that running. So we've got one in the attic right above our bedroom, and we don't even know it's on, except that we can feel the air. The service I've gotten throughout the whole experience has been great. Chip has worked with me extensively. He's had many trips over here and many phone conversations about different options and different models. What we need, why we need it, and why some units will work better than others. So that was a big help, even walking me through the load calculations and showing me, why he was speccing a system a certain way, and why, we did have some options or why we didn't have options. The install went very well. The guys showed up on time. They were very clean. They cleaned actually as they went, which is pretty neat. And they spent a lot of time in the attics where it was quite a bit warmer. So I felt bad for them, but they didn't complain, and they were up there from early in the morning until 6 or 7 in the evening sometimes, just to get it done for me and get it done well. And they were very polite, very clean. They wore booties so they didn't track stuff through the house. They did most of the work that they could outside so that it didn't disrupt me because I work at home. And then when they were able to do the install inside the house, they got it done as quickly and professionally as they could. And I've been up in the attic doing other things, and I've been able to see the actual install and where they've taped all the joints and done all the insulation. I don't really see any cracks. Everything runs really quietly. Been very pleased with it all. I've already told pretty much everybody I know that I've gotten this kind of system, and that if they're looking, they should look into the same kind of system. one, as a techie, it's very interesting to me how everything works, but two, just the performance that I've been able to get from it has been outstanding. So, I've been sure to tell, everybody I've run into, and they'll ask me, "Oh, I heard you were getting a new HVAC system," and I'll, just go into this long speech about everything that I'm getting and why I'm getting it and how cool it is and how much I like it and how pleased I've been with it so far. I've even had other people come by for other things, other contractors looking at different parts of my house for different projects, and they'll ask me about them, and I'll tell them that, yeah, that's the way to go. If you need something, if you need a nice new HVAC system, the Mitsubishis have been absolutely great so far. Overall, it's been fantastic. I have no complaints at all. I've been very pleased with everything from A to Z.